Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the SH Figuarts Marvel Gamerverse Cyclops. And I know it's been out for a while. I had mine about a week ago, and long story short, without getting into any of the details, it ended up in the garbage with a whole pile of loot. And it's gone now, so I had to wait for a replacement, so here it is. But we're reviewing it, finally. This is like the first, maybe like good foray. I guess Mafex has been doing it, but they haven't been super successful with many releases, so we'll say some of them have been, like Gambit's been great, but first foray into a company that people might be able to get a good lineup of Marvel figures from outside of Hasbro. Like I said, there are some Mafex, but mostly like his Mafex. Oof, boy, I bought a replacement, by the way, just before we get into it. I bought a Mafex of this guy, like a reissue, to see if it was any better, and it was worse than the first one. Terrible figure. It's not in contest with this figure at all. It's not going to make an appearance in this video. Pile of garbage. Never buy that figure. This one, actually pretty good in some ways. Some ways really good, in some ways terrible. We're going to do the whole review thing, and we're going to see at the end if it's actually worth owning. But let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before we look at the figure, let me show you my package. It's a pretty good package. I think it's funny that once again they put the figure behind all the cardboard, but whatever. And there's some artwork there. It makes him look kind of metallic. He's not, not artwork, photo, but it's okay. It's a fine package. It's exactly the same photos we've already seen. This is the absolute worst thing in the history of action figures, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, it's a fine package. The Gamerverse branding is all over it. It's such a horrible branding. I don't know who came up with that. Probably somebody who's never played a video game. So here he is. He's not in stock right now at Big Bad Toy Store. He's in the stage of pre-order sold out, but that means they're getting more, so I would expect him to be back in stock soon. So I'll put a link in the description below, and if you need to get one, you should be able to, probably, because he still hasn't released even at all the stores. Like, they haven't gotten their shipments in, so there should be more, is my guess. Alright, he stands, not counting his hair, about 6 inches. So including his hair, it's a little bit more than that. And that's going to make him roughly 15.7 centimeters. Here he is up against good old Darwin. He's way shorter than Darwin by a lot. Here he is up against the Marvel Legends Cyclops that I just happen to have, that I just reviewed, that's a pile of garbage. Way shorter than that by a lot. And when this guy first got announced, they had the wrong height. And I said, well, he's way too short. And then they changed the height, and they said that was an error. He's actually this tall. And I was like, that's still way too short. And so many people kept telling me, no, he's the right height. That's good. He's not. He's way too short if you want him to blend in with anything other than this specific line of figures. But so we're going to do some height comparisons for you guys so that you can see what it looks like. And I thought the fairest thing first, because this is Bandai Tamashii Nations, the fairest thing I could do first is show you, if you wanted to pair him with this guy, he's got the plasticizer leaching out of him. There he is up against their Ryu. They're basically the same height, give or take. Not even close to accurate. By any metric, by any means, especially in the game, he should be like half a head to a whole head taller than Ryu, and by any of their height measurements in anything, Cyclops should be way taller than Ryu. Okay, but this is one of the tallest Ryu figures. Let's see, this one's also pretty tall, but we'll put him up here too. Here's the Jada one. If you're trying to do an MvC sort of display, which is the idea, this one's even taller. So yeah, Ryu shouldn't be taller than Cyclops. Neither of these work, so we'll set these aside. What about the newest, best, most wonderful action figure ever of Ryu? He's a little bit shorter than Cyclops, so you could fudge it, I guess, but it's still not even close to the right height. Cyclops here, way too short. He's okay-ish if you're doing true 1/12 scale. Nobody does that, and so frankly, it doesn't matter. Unless they're going to release a Ryu, this company's going to release a Ryu that's short enough to match him properly, it doesn't work. It makes no sense. And just for the giggles, here he is up against the best Wolverine that you would be pairing him with, because the Bandai one doesn't look anything like anything like the MvC Wolverine. Wolverine is actually shorter by a little bit. He is tall for this in this game. He's kind of tall, but not this tall. So yeah, they're out of scale here too, and obviously because he's a little bit too big. But he's definitely too small, is my point. So unless you are only going to buy into the new Bandai MvC ecosystem, which we don't even know is going to exist, he's too freaking short. There's no argument that he's not. That's a good one. Tired of people saying it. He's too short. He's way too short. But maybe he's good otherwise, and you can fudge it around. So let's do the review and see if he's any good. But let's do a question of the day. Would you rather they make the figures based on the artwork for a game or on the sprites? For me, it's the sprites. One, the sprites don't change. The artwork varies like crazy. The artwork for this game in particular, they're hardly human looking. Like, I love the artwork, but it's not exactly reference material for everything. They don't look anything like the sprites either. I think they should have gone with the sprites. This figure, as I talked about in my previous video about this guy, he matches some of the artwork enough. He's kind of like an amalgamation of different things. And so that's why I said, like, if you're going to pick artwork, you need to be hyper specific or it's not going to look like anything. And it doesn't really. It kind of comes close to a variety of different things in different spots, and I guess that's fine, but that's why I think you should have focused on the sprites. If you're ever going to make a thing on a video game, focus on the sprites or very specifically on one type of artwork. So there's that. But otherwise, he does look generally pretty good. I love that they have shading throughout all of the blue. It looks really, really nice. That's good. The yellow paint is clean enough where it's painted. I don't have any major problems. It's certainly better than the Mafex that looks like it was painted with melted crayons. But if you look, it's not perfect, but that's what we're talking about in terms of imperfection. It's totally acceptable. The red and black on the belts, that's fine. I think the yellow color they chose is good too. That's hard to do sometimes. Sometimes you have things like this that look just, terrible. Yeah, I think it looks generally pretty good. There's one thing that throws it off completely. It's not the hair sculpt. I love the hair sculpt. Let me adjust the camera a little bit. Hair sculpt is maybe one of the best hair sculpts we've seen like this. You don't normally get as many thin pieces sticking out, so that's some good sculpt work right there. That's some good molding. I like it. I think it needs a little bit of paint, but it's good. But here's the thing that really ruins it for me. His visor sits way too high on his head. There's like one piece of art where it kind of looks like this, but every other thing, no, the visor is lined up where his eyes should be, and this one sits way too high and it makes him look pretty goofy. His eyes would be under the yellow part, so that sucks. Also, the visor doesn't fit on his head properly, and just wait until we get into the accessories because that is a travesty. Also, they screwed the red. Let's zoom in again. This is like the thing. If you're gonna get one thing right on Cyclops, it kind of has to be this. And they screwed the red paint up at both ends. And of course the visor is not lined up with his face properly. So we have lots of problems already that are probably a bridge too far for a lot of people. I have to say, I don't think the thigh cut looks as bad in person as it does in a lot of the photos. I still think it's an absolutely crazy way to do this. You don't need to do any of this, but Bandai's been overcomplicating things for almost a decade now. It doesn't look as bad as I thought it was going to. These floating crotch pieces can definitely get weird, but it looks better than I thought. And not having any sculpt work for his crotch is a little bit weird. Like there's not that I need a bulge on my figure, but it looks just unfinished. So that's a little bit weird looking. But I have to say, other than the face, he looks pretty good, I think. If you're okay with this version of Cyclops, this style of Cyclops, matching that kind of artwork, it's fine. It looks better than it does in the photos. So I like it in a lot of ways. The sculpt work is good enough, other than it is a little bit soft. I think it should be harsher, kind of like these guys, where it's like not super detailed, but there's enough detail to make it look dramatic and dynamic, and he does look a little bit soft. Somebody said in one of my comments they look like cake toppers, him and Wolverine. And I can't disagree entirely. They do have a certain weird aesthetic choice to them, but it looks pretty good. For $100 though, 7 out of 10 is the best I can do. 7 out of 10. And it's close to $100 no matter where you go. So even if you say, well, Big Bad Toy Store charges too much. Okay, what are you paying for it? 85 or 90? I mean, I know 85 is a big difference, but it's still too much for this. Now, accessories. I don't think you can get it for 85 anywhere, especially if you have to factor in international shipping. Okay, let's talk about the accessories. We'll do hands first. That's the easy thing. Good spread of hands. No problem there. Like the hands. Next thing, which is, this is an odd choice. I think this is an example of Bandai doing too much for the wrong things. We have 3 necks for this figure, and they serve different benefits for different poses, but is it enough to make it worth doing that? I don't know. I think it's kind of weird. If you just have good articulation, you don't really need it. But yeah, you get one neck where he's kind of leaning back, one where he's kind of leaning forward, and one neutral neck. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a figure with 3 interchangeable necks just for slightly different poses. So that seems weird to me, but let me know how you feel about that. Now let's get to the interchangeable heads. We have the neutral head where he's kind of smirky, smiley, kind of. And then we have an angry head with his teeth showing and one where he's yelling. The one where he's yelling, I hate that his mouth is not more recessed. It doesn't look terrible, but if you're going to do that, just have the solid plank of color behind his teeth. At least make it concave a little bit more. Like you can actually see the pink part from the side. That's what she said. That's weird. I don't, why didn't they push it in some? So the heads are there. I like the teeth gridded one, that's fine. Now, let's talk about the blast effects and the interchangeable visors. They all swap out on all the different heads, which is nice. Sort of. We'll start with the best thing. I love this blast effect. It is very well sculpted, very well shaded. It looks great. It looks fantastic. I'm very happy with it. The littler one, it's fine. I don't think I would ever use that for very much. And then we have the one where it's just like the residual crackle of not energy. It's what is it, punches? It's just like force energy, which is weird, but whatever. That one's fine too. It's for certain artwork. So good spread of effect parts for the visor, especially the big one. I love that. However, these visors don't freaking fit on his face. Some of them fit on some of the faces well enough, but they still don't fit. Even the standard one that comes on him in the package, it doesn't fit. And then some of them don't fit practically at all. Like maybe you can heat the head up and really cram them on there. It's going to end up falling off anyway though. How do you screw up the main thing? That's like if you made a Wolverine figure and the claws didn't stay on his hands. How do you do that? How do you do that? It's just nuts that the visors don't fit on the face. So I'm inclined to take away about 1 billion points from this figure. I'm not going to do it, but we have to talk about one more accessory, which is the optic blast effect, which, guys, I don't know if you guys were collecting the Street Fighter figures or the Tekken figures that Tamashi was putting out. I hate with a burning, searing passion these cardboard inserts. First of all, they don't fit in the box properly. Every single time they've released one, it's been curved. So that pissed me off right away, because you can't even display them as you're supposed to. It looks like hot freaking garbage. All they needed to do, and this would have cost them a little bit more and the package would have been a little bit bigger. You're already charging too much. Make this out of the plastic that you've done other effect parts for. Make it clear plastic and paint it, or whatever they do. It's like silk screening, I guess. And put it on a little clear acrylic stand. Not some folded ass cardboard that looks like garbage. Like the print works fine enough, sure. Who's using this? Tell me, has anybody ever used these kinds of things? I think it's just the worst choice ever. I hate this. This should be one piece of plastic. Clear plastic with paint on it and a little stand to hold it up. So it actually looks like he's shooting it, sort of. Because now, if you have white cabinet or anything other than black cabinets, this doesn't work anyway. Also, why'd you put his name and Optic Blast on there? So that nobody can ever use this in any way that makes sense. Also, if it was plastic, it could have gone both ways. You could shoot it either way, and people have some choice, some agency in how they pose their figures. Instead, you got some shitty cardboard. So, accessory-wise, 3 out of 10. Love the blast effect. If it was just the one thing, I'd give it a 20 out of 10. Love the blast effect. But the visor's not fitting, and the cardboard being garbage pisses me off too much. So, yeah, bad score. Let's see if he can pose, because if he can't pose, then what the hell's the point? Alright, let's see. So, on just the standard neck, I'm not going to try out every of the necks. All 3 of the necks. Yeah, it works. Ball pegs are nice. Ball pegs make posing so much better, and this is a good one. He is a little stout fellow on this figure, so it does get a little weird looking sometimes. But yeah, the neck works nicely. Now for the shoulders, Bandai just really is jealous of Revoltech, apparently, because they keep trying to do weird-ass shoulder designs that they don't need to do. So it's almost a Revoltech shoulder, but it's not. So you don't get any of the benefits of a Revoltech shoulder, and you get most of the downsides. So you have a little ball peg in there, inside that butterfly joint, and then you get the hinge. So the arm moves around on the butterfly to create just a big ugly gap. So that's nice. When you raise it up, the gap is still there and still ugly, and you don't get any extra range. And then you don't get any of the benefit of a Revoltech, because you still can't bring his arm forward. This doesn't really accomplish anything other than being ineffective at posing. Now the butterfly itself also sucks. And I called this in the beginning when they very first showed it. I said, that's not going to work. It's not going to look good, and it's not going to work, and it doesn't freaking look good or work. That's the best range you can get out of it. If you really pull it out, and obviously you're not supposed to do that, you can get more range. But even then, it barely has any freaking range because of how poorly it was designed, because Bandai apparently lost the plot. They think the more cuts and joints they have, the better. Oh, that's right. It doesn't freaking work. It was able to get farther forward because I forced it, and it went past where it was supposed to go. This joint is garbage. This is one of the worst shoulders ever. Bandai, why is your newest thing the worst thing? Bicep swivel is okay. Double jointed elbow, that's fine. Wrists are on ball hinges, that's pretty standard. Whatever. Now, get ready, because if over-engineering was a way to make money, Bandai would be rich. They're probably rich anyway, I don't know. Honestly, this isn't a bad idea in concept, it's a good idea. The strap here and the straps back here are extended. They tuck in, they go all the way down into his innards. And that's a great concept, because that way when you bend him and move him around, they can just pull out or go back in or whatever. The problem is, they don't do the thing. Especially this front one, and maybe some of you have had different experiences. I have to pull with a lot of force to the point where I think I'm going to stretch the plastic to be able to get that to come out. And same thing back here. It's not as bad back here. I can make them come out, and then you would think you'd have free range to pose him. But I can't get the torso to do much. And is it just me, or is it just a crap joint? It feels to me like it just doesn't go anywhere. And I have a big chunk missing right there. But yeah, it feels to me like the torso just sucks. So not only do these things not let you move them freely, but it feels to me like you actually can't pose him very well. The joints just don't have anywhere to go. Side to side is okay. He's a little wobbly. It rotates, but it's not good. His upper torso is kind of trash. And people were commenting on the Wolverine saying how it looks so much better than the Hasbro one. It's like, no, it doesn't. In some ways it does, but it can't even hunch. It has 14 joints in the torso. It can't hunch as much as a Hasbro figure can. That's embarrassing. Floaty belt is floaty. Moving the lower torso, you guessed it, it doesn't do anything. You can't move his lower torso. I think my focus was out of place. The focus spot. His lower torso doesn't articulate. So you have a garbage piece of articulation right here, and that's it. Now we have these unsculpted, glossy trunks with the tiny peeper area. Will it work? Let's see if it will work. Going out to the side, yeah, you get basically the splits with no real nuggets. So I am okay with that. I still hate this. I don't know if anybody likes this. It's way too much, and it doesn't accomplish very much at all. You don't need that. You can get good range out of that. You can get good range out of this. You can get good range out of all kinds of things. You don't need to do all of this nonsense, but it does work. Okay, and I still don't like this giant cut. It makes the legs look really stumpy here. I've had people telling me the legs are too short. It's only by a little bit, because you have to count up here, like to the top of his hip area. And like his lower legs are a little bit too long, but not by too much. It just looks like it because of the way they cut everything up, so that sucks. Bringing the leg forward, you still just get out to 90 degrees. And going back, you get a little bit. Oh, you can go farther. Okay, good. Yeah, you can get the range, but it doesn't look really good doing it. It's just fine. It's just okay. And I mean, are we aiming for just okay at this point when all of these other companies are coming in with really good products, and Bandai, who used to be the king of imports, is now just making okay? Like, that's not okay for me. Thigh swivel is a thigh swivel. It's gonna thigh swivel. Maybe there's a ball in there. If it is, it doesn't really do much. It's kind of loose. And you already saw the knee works. The ankle, talk about over-designing again. They put a cap on the ankle to try to make it look better. I don't understand how it looks better. Now, instead of having just one ball hinge down there, you have a ball hinge with an extra thing, so you've created more seams, and it doesn't hide the joint. Like, you still have that. That is still the maximum amount of range you can get, and if you had a ball hinge, it would be the same thing. I don't understand what they're trying to do. If you just had a bigger ball hinge, it would work. The only argument is they didn't want to make the ball bigger to the side, so they made it ovular by adding that cap in. But you can make a ball hinge that's shaped like that, so I don't understand what they're doing here. The range is fine. It goes back, and it kind of goes forward, but barely. So it's not like they've created extra range, and they haven't made it look better. I don't understand what they're doing at that company anymore. They're just adding plastic chunks to things at this point for no reason. The ankle is just a standard ankle with not even great range. The toe hinge is terrible. It has a giant chunk. You don't need the chunk there. You're not supposed to have the chunk there. It's loose, and it's really far forward. I could get away with it being far forward. That's fine, but it's too loose, and with that chunk, it's no good. This figure does not pose especially well. It does not have good articulation. Can you make it look good? Probably. It's certainly better than the Mafex figure. That thing should never be purchased. Is it better than every Marvel Legends version? I mean, probably technically, but it costs 5 times as much as they used to, and 3.5 times as much as they do now. So, I don't know. This guy's articulation for Bandai, 6 out of 10. It's not good. His torso doesn't freaking work. What's going on? The shoulders are terrible and torso doesn't work. The rest is all average. So, time for the final verdict on this guy. Is this giving me a lot of hope? No. When I first talked about this guy in Spider-Man, I said like they're probably going to be the best there are out there, but that's only because there's no competition. And Bandai's been really shooting itself in the foot lately, and this is no different. Is this my favorite Cyclops figure that I have? Maybe, but only because there's no good competition. They're all bad. And this one's slightly less bad, but there's so much wrong with it. And now it's time for the final verdict. Is this like the new best thing? No, it's not. It's not. I'm so tired of having to not be happy with figures unless it's like something nobody expected and then all of a sudden is the best thing ever. That's great. But all these companies that have been resting on their laurels for so long, it's like they don't know what to do. And they're panicking, so they're just cutting joints into things that don't make any sense. And releasing products that have the worst quality control ever. Cyclops with no visors. Are you kidding? Final rating, 0 out of 10. If you can't put a visor on Cyclops, you don't deserve to sell a Cyclops figure. That's it. That's it. That's like making Hulk and turning him pink. Oh no, you got the main thing wrong. I can't understand how this is what's happening in the action figure industry. Prices are going through the roof on everything, and they aren't trying at all for most of these companies. It's nuts. Bandai comes out getting ready to show everybody how they can sell Marvel figures, and they're not even worth owning. I mean, barely. He can't put his visors on his head. And he can't pose for crap. The torso doesn't work. Whatever. Okay, I'm done. I'm so tired of these crappy companies making crappy products and so many people just gobbling them up because social media. It's just nuts. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, but I'm done. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.